my beautiful babies, and for those of you who are just stopping by my channel, hi, how are you? Welcome to my home. Today is a recipe that actually my kids have loved, and they frequently ask me for the recipe for this dish, and it is a quinoa and broccoli casserole. I'd like to say that I came up with this on my own, but I didn't. If I can find the link to it, I will put it below so that you guys can go and check it out and give credit where credit is due. But yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need is obviously a pot. And I like to rinse my quinoa. Now, sometimes it's really hard because a lot of us will naturally gravitate towards like a colander or whatever. But what I use is just like one of these sieves. And then I just run cold water over it because the quinoa is so fine that I feel like it just like, I don't know, seeps through things sometimes. But anyway, so I'm actually doubling the recipe today because I'm planning on my husband, your dad, leftovers to take to lunch and stuff. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to read out or tell you the measurements for a single batch. Although it may look more because I'm doubling it. That makes sense. So the first thing is I rinse quinoa, which would be 3/4 of a cup, and you're just going to add that. Just kind of tap it out. All right. Okay, I'm just going to kind of put that in because that's just me. Okay, anyway, so and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 1.5 cups of water. Just grab that real quick. And it would be smarter to move the pot if your stove is pretty far from the sink, to bring the pot over to the sink and then add your water. But as you may know, my sink is fairly close to the stove, so I feel pretty comfortable just doing it that way. And then into this, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of salt. I use pink Himalayan salt. I really don't think that it matters too much. It's just what I have on hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, no, that's okay. So there's my, that's 1/4, but again, like I said, I'm doubling it. So I'm going to put 2 in there. Now, there's a couple of things that I've done differently with this. I believe that quinoa is like pretty similar to rice in the sense that what you put in the pot is what's going to be absorbed in the flavor. So I most commonly will use like chicken broth or beef broth as my water and then cook it that way. But I don't have any of that on hand. So what I'm going to use is this Better Than Bouillon, this roasted garlic base. And probably... let's see here. I'm just gonna probably do just a spoon full of it. Just kind of get it in here. Now, something to keep in mind too, since I'm always cautious and concerned about this, but over salting. When you use anything like this, bouillon based, whether it be powder or whatever, I just feel like there's just like tons of sodium. Yeah, that's just 650 milligrams of sodium. So again, to taste. Don't go too crazy. It's always better to go less than too much because you can't take it away once it's already in there. All right, so then now what we're gonna do is we are going to turn this on to high. And then we're gonna bring it up to a boil. And then once it gets to a boil, then we're gonna turn it down. I turn it all the way down to low. Sometimes I'll even turn it off because that's how I cook rice. If you're gonna be around and you're gonna watch it, then yeah, you can turn it down to low. But probably what I will do, no, you know what I will do is I'll do the same thing. We're just gonna keep it on low. I'm also gonna pop over here and turn the bake on the oven because you're gonna wanna preheat your oven to about 350 degrees because remember, this is like a casserole. So you're going to cover this and then we are going to bring this to a boil. Once it's to a rolling boil, again, turn it down to low and we're gonna let that simmer for about 20 minutes. Again, very similar to rice. and then I will come back. Okay, so while the quinoa is cooking, what we're gonna do is you're gonna need a fairly large bowl, but like I said, I wanna reiterate this again. The measurements may look off when you make it because I'm telling you how to make a single batch, but I'm actually making a double batch. I know I probably said it like 5 times already, but I just don't want you to be like, hey, that doesn't look right. And it actually is. It's just because I'm making more. Okay, anyways. Okay, so to your big bowl, you're going to add a 10-ounce can of either cream of mushroom. It's kind of, again, it's what you have on hand. So I have cream of mushroom. I also have chicken. Oh, that is really not what we want. We do not want that one. I thought it was cream of chicken. So anyway, so I guess we're gonna go with cream of mushroom. So you're going to have 1 10-ounce can of that. And hold on a minute, I gotta grab something. Okay, so you're going to add, like I said, 1 10-ounce can of cream of mushroom. You could do cream of chicken, you could do cream of broccoli, like whatever you have on hand. I've done it with all of them. So you're gonna add, oh my gosh, look, I hate that when that happens. Okay, so we're gonna deal with that one right here in a minute. So we're gonna put that in here. All right, let's see here. I'm gonna figure out how I'm gonna do this can. Okay, so I got it open and it's in here. And then now to that, you're gonna add 1/3 cup of mayonnaise. Yes, sorry, Elisha, there is mayonnaise in this recipe and I bet you never knew that. What I like to do, I had a little bit of mayonnaise left over in the container. And so I added it to this, but I'm gonna show you what's my favorite mayonnaise. I really like this mayonnaise, the let's see here, Kewpie mayonnaise. I just think it has better flavor to it, but here in Alaska, it's a little more difficult to find. I think the only place I've found it is at a grocery store called Cars. It's technically in the lower 48. I think it's Safeway, but that's the only place I've ever been able to find it. Okay, so to that, now you're going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of either Splenda or sugar or some sort of sweetener alternative if that's what you want. And then a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. So we're gonna throw that in. And then now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of milk. Again, whatever you have on hand. I happen to have half and half, or sorry, this isn't half and half. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. This is heavy whipping cream. I had some of it left over from Christmas and it needs to be used. So I'm gonna add that. And again, that's 2 tablespoons of that. Let's see here. Also, we're going to add just a dash of nutmeg. Now, a dash, I like to say a dash is like a pinch. So just kind of put that in there. Actually, for me, I'm probably gonna do 2 pinches of it in that. And then I'm gonna kind of mix all this together. I know it doesn't look very appetizing at this stage, but I promise it's really good. Okay. Now, I don't know if I've like shared with you guys yet the reason why I've started this YouTube channel. And for those of you who are not my children and just like stopping by, I started this channel because my kids are always calling me, now they're adults, and they're always calling me for recipes. And so I've been like relaying the recipes to them. But I thought it'd be kind of nice to have like a centralized location where they can actually see me making some of their recipes that they grew up with, or even trying out new recipes that I like, that I think that maybe you would like. And not only that, but I've also like thought that it would be a kind of a cool thing to have something in a centralized location. So like, I mean, God forbid anything ever happens to me, which I don't want that to happen, but obviously if something does, then you'll be able to come and actually see mom making, still cooking and sharing those things with you guys. So it's kind of my idea about behind this YouTube channel. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is you're gonna wanna add, what is it, like 2 cups of cooked broccoli. Now you can have the option of going and buying a head of broccoli and cutting it down and boiling it or steaming it and then doing that. I happen to have today frozen broccoli, and just make sure that I defrosted it. If there's like a lot of standing liquid in it, you're gonna want to kind of like tip some of it out. So I'm gonna add that 2 cups to that. I'm gonna give that a stir real quick. Also, I have used sliced carrots. I've added that to this. I've used cauliflower and broccoli. It's kind of a mod podge of, again, which you may have on hand. Green beans. I'm sure green beans actually would be really good in here too if that was your thing. It's a pretty versatile recipe, actually. Okay, so to that, we're also going to add, let's see here, how much, we're gonna do, let's see, 1 1/4 cup of cheese. Now, I'm pretty sure that the recipe says either cheddar, Colby Jack, or whatever, but I just have this Mexican blend, and so I'm just going to use that. And so you're going to add 1 1/4 cups to that. Sharp cheese I've also used in this before, and it is wonderful. Just going to, again, give that a good stir. Get it all in there. And if you like more cheese, you can add more cheese. If you don't like as much, take some of it away. It's what you like. All right, okay. Now, I'm gonna grab our quinoa. Okay, so we're gonna set that to the side. Okay, so here's our cooked quinoa. Now, how you can tell the quinoa is done. Let me see if I can hold some of this up there. And I don't know, like, if you can see it, but you can see how there's like those little white tails. Not a very good description of it, but once you see those and those have unfurled, that's a pretty good indication that your quinoa has fully cooked. And there's no more liquid on the bottom of the pan. I did turn it all the way off and just left it there with the lid on. My son-in-law came to pick up Rico and take him to get haircuts. So I just didn't have, I was busy visiting and I just didn't want it to burn. So I just turned it off and left the lid on, and it perfectly is fine. So now we're going to add that, all that quinoa. You know, something else that I've also done with this is I've actually, if I had chicken, I have cut chicken and put it in here. Cooked chicken and put it in there. And use that in this recipe as well if you were like looking for extra protein. I mean, there's a lot of protein in quinoa anyway, but let's see here. What are some other ways? If you're like wanting to add more protein to this, you could also use some, let's see here, I don't know, some unflavored protein powder. You could probably put that in this as well, because usually that stuff is like a dairy base or whey or whatever. Okay, so you've mixed that in and it looks like that. Okay, so now I've got a casserole dish. I've lightly buttered the inside. I mean, like lightly buttered the inside. There's a lot of, with the mayonnaise and stuff in here, there's a lot of like oil. So, but sometimes it does like stick to the pan. And I feel like quinoa can be like, what is that, cream of wheat. And once it's stuck on there, you like have to use like some elbow grease to clean your pan. So I just put a little bit on it. You can spray Pam on it, or you cannot. I mean, preference again. part of cooking, I feel like, is experimenting and trying to find what it is that you like. Okay. So we're just going to put all of that in the casserole dish. And then we're going to spread this around. This is a fairly large casserole dish. I'm not exactly sure what the size is, but it is definitely one of the larger glass pans. You don't have to use a glass pan. It's just what I have. And it's not like you necessarily have to cook this. You're more just like melting the cheese and make it a little bit bubbly. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now on top of this, I am going to probably add, I have a little bit of this mild cheddar left. So I think that what I'm gonna do is like sprinkle some of that on top of here. Let's just move that around a little bit. Do the best we can. Toss that in the garbage. And then also I like to add Parmesan to the top. Like so. And no, I'm not like, there isn't an amount. I'm just sprinkling it on. You can do whatever you want. If you don't want that much cheese, don't do that much cheese. All right, so now what we're gonna do, after we've got all of that, we've got the cheese on it and the Parmesan and everything, what we're gonna do is we're gonna bake it for like 35 to 40 minutes. If you're putting it in like smaller ramekins, or if you're putting it in like a smaller pan, you might wanna cut the time back a little bit to maybe 20 and 25 minutes. I'm not gonna cover it, leave it uncovered. You're gonna cook it until it's like bubbly and the edges around here are all golden brown. And the recipe, without doubling it, it easily can feed 8 people. Now, again, I doubled it because this is gonna go for other meals. Not only is it gonna be for dinner tonight, it's also going to be for lunch and stuff, probably tomorrow and maybe for another day. So yeah, so let's pop this in the oven at 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes. All right, so I took it out of the oven, and this is what you're looking for. See, it's all nice and toasty, brown around there. The cheese is melted. And so now let's scoop it out and plate it. Okay. So let's just dig into this cheesy goodness. And there you go. There you have it. Quinoa and broccoli casserole. All right, there you have it. That is the quinoa and broccoli cheese casserole. I hope that you make it, and I really hope that you love it. And if you're visiting, like I said, I hope that you make it and let me know if it is something that you like. And again, I feel like cooking in general is to taste. And maybe you think, oh, maybe I should add this or maybe I should add that. Let me know in the bottom in the comments how you altered maybe the recipe and if you enjoyed it too. So from my family to yours, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.